This is Go Math Lesson 9.1. It's on independent and dependent variables. The essential question is, how can you write an equation to represent the relationship between an independent variable and a dependent variable? You can use an equation with two variables to represent a relationship between two quantities. One variable is called the independent variable, and the other is called the dependent variable. The value of the independent variable determines the value of the dependent variable. So here's a problem. Jerry burns 5 8/10 calories for every minute she jogs. Identify the independent and dependent variables in the situation. Then write an equation to represent the relationship between the number of minutes Jerry jogs and the total number of calories she burns. So why do you need to use a variable? So we need to do that to represent an unknown value. How many variables are needed to write the equation for this problem? I'm going to need two variables for this problem. So identify the independent and dependent variables, then use the variables to write an equation. Let C represent the total number of calories Jerry burns, and let M represent the number of minutes Jerry jogs. Think, the total number of calories Jerry burns depends on the number of minutes she jogs. So C is the dependent variable, and then M is the independent variable. So now we're going to write an equation to represent the situation. So C is the total calories burned, and that's equal to 5 8/10 times the number of minutes jogged, which would be M. So the equation C equals 5 8/10 M represents the number of calories C that Jerry burns if she jogs for M minutes, where C is the dependent variable and M is the independent variable. Okay, Lorelai is spending the afternoon bowling with her friends. Each game she plays costs $3.25, and there's a one-time shoe rental fee of $2.50. Identify the independent and dependent variables in this situation. Then write an equation to represent the relationship between the number of games and the total cost. Think, the total cost in dollars, C, depends on the number of games, G, that Lorelai plays. So C, the cost, is the dependent variable. G, the games, is the independent variable. So think, the total cost C is the cost per game, $3.25, times the number of games, G, plus the shoe rental. And the shoe rental was $2.50. Be really careful for this. This is an error alert. It says, note that the fee for the shoes, $2.50, is a one-time fee and therefore is not multiplied by the number of games. So you're going to add that at the end. So the equation C equals 3 25/100 G plus $2.50 represents the total cost in dollars C that Lorelai spends if she bowls G games, where C is the dependent variable and G is the independent variable. So now we're going to use that equation that we just wrote to find the total cost for Lorelai to play 3 games. So I'm going to find the value of C, the cost, when G, the number of games, is 3. So I write my equation, C equals 325G plus 250. And then I'm going to substitute 3 for G since she's playing 3 games. So it's going to be 325 times 3 plus 250. And then I have to follow the order of operations to solve for C. So I know I have to follow PEMDAS, order of operations, or GEMDAS, whatever one you prefer. And I'm going to have to do all my multiplication and division before I do adding and subtracting. So I have 325 times 3 So 3 times 2, 6 plus 1 is 7. 3 times 3 is 9. There's two numbers behind the decimal. So 975. And then I'm going to add 250 to that. So when I am adding decimals, I need to make sure I line up my decimals. And I get $12.25. So it will cost Lorelei $12.25 to play 3 games. Question 1. What if there were no fee for shoe rentals? How would the equation be different? So I would not have to add that 250 on the end if there was no charge for the shoes. So my equation would just be C equals $3.25 times the number of games if they weren't going to charge you for shoes. Okay, question 2 says, how can you use estimation to check that your answer is reasonable? So I know that the cost of a game is about $3, and if Lorelei plays 3 games, the cost is about $9. Plus I have to have the shoe rental, which is $250, which rounds up to about $3. So the cost of the games and the shoes is $9 plus $3, which is $12. And $12 is really close to my answer of $12.25, so that lets me know that my answer is reasonable. I'm going to do a couple more problems. Identify the independent and dependent variables, then write an equation to represent the relationship between them. So question number 1. An online store lets customers have their name printed on any item they buy. The total cost, C in dollars, is the price of the item, P in dollars, plus $3.99 for the name. So the total cost depends on the price of the item. Like if you're buying a hat, it's going to cost maybe less than if you're buying a jacket. So the price of the item is going to be your independent variable. So my P, the price of the item, is independent. The total cost is the dependent variable. So my equation is going to be C equals P, the price of whatever item you bought, plus the price of putting the name on it, which is $3.99. Okay, question 2. A raft travels downriver at a rate of 6 miles per hour. The total distance D in miles that the raft travels is equal to the rate times the number of hours. So the dependent variable is my total distance. The independent variable is the number of hours that you're traveling. So my equation is going to be the distance, D, equals 6 times the number of hours, because they're going 6 miles per hour. I'm going to do one more. Apples are on sale for $1.99 a pound. Sheila buys P pounds of apples for a total cost of C dollars. The dependent variable again is going to be C, the cost in dollars. The independent variable is going to be P, the number of pounds that she buys. So my equation is going to be total cost equals $1.99 per the number of pounds that she buys. If you have any questions, you can ask me on the Google Classroom.